Come on, man.
Yo, I sent you something, yo. You get it? Like, I know you be ripping and running.
Tell me something?
I sent you something for the school that Tamaya might be going to. I wanted your opinion on it.
Send it.
Huh?
When?
What'd you say?
When
I don't
and
know.
where?
Maybe I sent it to you. I know you got a different number. Maybe I sent it to your old number or something.
Oh, okay.
It's
Nah,
called Great Hearts.
I would have been on that.
It's
I
called
want to
Great
see.
Hearts. It's called Great
Yeah,
Hearts, and it's K through 8,
so you
and they
know it's
feed.
on the joint right now, just so you know.
Oh, we live?
Yeah, it goes right away. So as soon as you jump on the call, it's rocking. So
Okay.
just so you know.
Um.
Live. So, Troy, finish telling me about that school. What's the name of it?
So it's called Great Hearts, and
Great Arts.
yeah, and it feeds to Brophy Academy. I think those are two good schools.
Okay, I got to check them both out.
I'll send it to you. I send it to you again, then. So
Please
what's
do.
going
Send
on?
it to the 301. Hold on, I'm jumping in now. Everything good. Um,
Recording in progress.
let me tell you.
All right. You can hear me, right?
That's right. Yep.
All right. These technical difficulties is something else. All right. I'm gonna let that do its thing over here. There we go. I see Derek on there now. Yep, it's on the joint. You got a NASA shirt on, Troy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. It's a good shirt to wear this time of year.
Oh yeah, you down in Florida? You down there with all that? How close you Cape Canaveral and Kennedy and all that stuff, Space Center and
That's
all that stuff?
probably like 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
Um,
Oh.
but they have great summer programs at
Hmm.
NASA. They got great programs year round. Uh, but I only get one or two kids every so often that that's their interest.
Got
Uh, other kids will be like, I don't want to go there, but I want to see that.
you.
These kids have changed.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So Derek, we missed you last week, but I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What you working on?
Ah, man. So this past week has been quite challenging because that time of year, my students start getting acceptance letters, start getting, waitlisted. In some extreme circumstances, they get rejected completely. But to me, that really comes down to just making sure up front we have the right fit for the student, and they're applying at schools that are a good fit and a good match for their academic profile. But right now, interesting, I was working on something this week where I had a student get accepted to NYU, Fordham, they're waiting on Howard, bunch of other schools. But the situation that arose is that she had a ex-boyfriend,
Mm.
and they went through whatever, but he had some recordings of her and was
Oh
trying to
wow.
send him to the university. Not
What?
not of any, yeah, not of anything of like them two in it like in a in a compromising position or anything, but just like kid stuff, teenage stuff, like where students, this more like social media bullying,
Right.
stuff like that, right? So just flushing through that, having to get the schools, not executives, but administrative staff involved. We have to get the police involved, have to
Wow.
make sure, and parents nowadays, they're not really one single family household. So it's like you got to get the extended family involved across both sides. So it's just been a mess. But, the student that I work with, that particular student, it was a learning lesson. Like you got to be careful what you're saying on social media, right?
Absolutely.
Got to be careful what image you want the world to know you as, and especially not. How can I say this? Especially parts of our population that they're emotional or they go through things, right? But imagine catching all your emotions and you're recording that and putting that on social media as a teenager, as you're just learning how to control your emotions and go through things. So in this instance, the girl was pulled over by like a cop who was kind of, all the red flags of a racist was there from the cop, from the interaction. All the signs that, the cop was racist. But the girl went on social media and ranted about it, Right now, I can't imagine if I was recording myself at 16, the way the cops back then,
Yeah, right.
hunted young black males and all black males, especially like
Yep.
on the New Jersey side where you have
Yeah.
governors that came and said all black males fit the description of a drug dealer, and then, putting that out through the police ranks so that they hunt people that look like the three of us. They hunt us, lay us on the curb, things like that. So I couldn't imagine if I had a microphone in my hand and social media in my hand at that point,
Right.
what I would have said, right? What would
Right.
I have said?
Right.
MF in this, MF in that, right? And FFF this and FFF that, right? But then what if that gets back to a football coach that's trying to recruit?
Right. Right.
Right? Even though I was targeted, even though my civil rights were violated,
Right.
even though, I'm facing authority who doesn't see me as human, and then I voice my opinion,
Right.
express my First Amendment rights, but then I lose scholarships
Right. Right.
or I get
That's
blackballed,
yeah.
right?
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. That's an
So
interesting
that's,
situation.
yeah, but imagine teenagers coming up now. Some of us as teenagers, we were more shy than others. Some of them, some dudes is hotheads, some ladies is hotheads. Anything you mess with, they coming for you, right? So I couldn't imagine just having social media at that point, and then that's there permanent. It still would be there, some 40 years later. That's crazy.
What's crazy, D, is as you're talking, all I can think about is we always had safe space, right?
Yes, yeah,
And
yes.
and what's going on is folks are treating social media as their safe space, not
Mm.
understanding that it's not a
Oh,
safe
yeah. I
space,
never thought about that. Yeah.
right? And so that's a huge difference in dynamic. That's a huge shift from how we grew up. And I'm saying how we grew up, but it's crazy. There's a generation between us and those teenagers now, right? Because that's the crazy part. So I always look at what sets up the teenage environment today is the parental environment that they experienced, right? And so we got to look at that parental period, right, between us and these teenagers. You know what I mean? Because I mean, our kids, our youngest, are in college. You know what I mean? Whereas as you talking about these 13 and 14-year-olds today, well, their parents could be our kids, which is crazy, right?
Mm.
Yes.
With us being in our 50s. But the safe space game changed in between now and between us and now. That's a whole thing to unpack right there, man. That's safe space. And let that be a lesson, because we know, talking to the IP attorney that I deal with, man, the fine print on social media platforms and AI platforms, people need to read this. people need to read this stuff, man, because that safe space that everybody thinks they're operating in is not safe at all. That's not conspiracy theory. That's just real talk. But how much do people take the time to actually read the fine print? You know what I mean? We're coming up with,
Oh,
not forget the fine print, social media, right? So now understanding there's a media component to it, right? And they just throw the social side of the house that lets you know that everybody can now do it, right? It's part of the norm. This is a thing worth unpacking right here, man.
I have
yeah.
grandbabies. I have grandbabies, 4, 2, and 1. So that's just a note. That's a generation after that. And the way the world is changing, how fast the world is changing, there's no way to even predict what type of social media platforms or what type of um, things they're going to be exposed to. So you're right to bring that up, Christian. That is important. And when you talk about safe spaces, um, hey, I'm not ashamed to be the spiritual voice on this particular video or podcast that we're hosting. And I always was taught from early age, and maybe I didn't listen to it all the time, but this safe space is in the arms of our Father, of our Heavenly Father. And I believe if the kids would, like you said, if the parents were bringing these kids up with that mindset, teach them the way that they should go, um, they'd be aware of the traps and dangers of social media and aware of the traps and dangers of just throwing all their business out there. Like you don't know what you don't know. So if no one educates these kids, which 85% of, that's my guess, 85% of the kids in the world don't have parents to educate them really, right? Educate them with the truth of the word, or even educate them from a place of professionalism and just general decorum. They're going to make those mistakes, Derek, that this young lady made, and I hope that by your counsel and your leadership, she's able to recover and find a school that'll put her in the right place for her future.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to be fine at NYU or wherever she decides um, to go to in the fall, right? But it was just the obstacles, right, that it created, right? And all of the follow-ups and getting lawyers and getting, you know, um, letters written to families and different things like that. Is just so much work, right? So where are the guardrails, right? How are we going to protect our students or our children or our neighbors, our communities from this, right? So I don't know. I mean, Congress right now is trying to put some guardrails in place with AI, right? And you know, I really feel as though it's something that we need to take personal responsibility for, right? In our households, and even parents, need to take the phone away, take the computer away, take things away. In fact, I'm probably going to do that in my own home this summer. It's probably just go phoneless over the summer, right? Except for meetings, right? And it was funny. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I couldn't think of I wanted. I couldn't think of something. I was like, well, you should go to this school because they got this major, and I couldn't remember, right? So I needed my phone. And then I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. Because I don't want to have to always go to my phone or go to my glasses or ask somebody, right? The knowledge has to be within yourself. So I actually wanted to work on that myself, but not more along the lines of social media, but just more along the lines from the research aspect. Just every time I need something, just jumping on, a platform to check it out real quick, just so I could refresh my memory. So I'm going to kind of work on that this summer. Um, but with the social media guidelines and guardrails and how AI is going to impact us in the future and how it's impacting us now, it's a lot, it's a lot to unpack. Really, what I want to do is just start with my home and making sure my kids are aware of the dangers of what you're posting now, because it's going to be there when you're 50 plus years of age. You'll still have that in your digital footprint. So I don't know. It's just concerning because kids have learned to use social media for revenge and getting back at people, taking people out, right? It's a huge platform for that. That's being utilized for that purpose. And, I really, other than, reaching out to the police or getting school administrations or getting other administrations, depending on what the situation is involved, there's really not much we can do other than just teach our children and teach our community members what's going on and how it's impacting those, others in a negative way, right?
Well, I'm going
So,
to say this. I think another part of that, though, Derek, is doing what you're doing, which is showing support, right? And
mhm.
showing somebody that you have their back, right? And then showing them how you're performing by having your back at the same time, right?
Mhm,
And I think that's key. What you're giving people. I just want to stay with where you're at with the social media side of the house. It's funny. Can you hear my neighbor cutting his grass or no?
mhm.
Okay, good. Because he decided to cut the grass today. I come outside. We got good weather here in Pennsylvania, so I'm outside today.
No, I'm seeing you. I'm wondering where you at because
I'm out back.
me and
I'm out
Troy get
back.
perfect days every day. You looking like a
Yeah,
perfect day out there.
yeah, it's feeling good. It's like he's cutting his grass. I had to put the headphones in. But no, I
Hmm.
mean, it just takes me back to also thinking about, as you were saying, well, we can take things. We got to take accountability, right? Because so many parents who talk like my wife and I. Our rule in the house was when the kids were coming up in high school, junior high school, no social media. Like there were no social media accounts. You're not doing it. And then I got parents say, "How do you do that?" It's real simple. It's my phone. It's my room,
And my
right?
kid.
It's not.
And
It's
my
my kid.
kid.
It's not that hard. It's like everybody's afraid to act like they don't have control of things. That's the problem. You do, right? If you want to act like a child, then guess what? You're gonna let a child raise a child. That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? And so take accountability. It's real simple. If people would say, "Listen, you can't have that," all right, that's it. Now, if they want to ask why, like now we grew up like you don't ask me why. You know what I mean? Because
Because I
hey,
said so.
yeah, because I said so. But at the same time, sorry, at the same time, I always let my kids have a conversation with me. Like, all right,
Yes.
I can articulate why, right?
Yes.
That is you can still have a conversation and still be no as the answer. Because I was talking to my dad today, talking about something else, and I was like, no is an answer. The problem is people who can't accept no don't know how to say no either. You
Oh, that's
know,
good, Christian.
no was an
That's good.
answer. It's not that hard. We got to be able to deal with yes and no. You know what I mean? No was an answer, man. It's not. And then guess what? Okay, great. Position myself to do something else because it doesn't. No doesn't end it. It says okay, pivot, do something different. Okay, come up with another solution. How about that part?
Hmm.
Come on, man.
Pe-
Parents acting like they're not parents. It's not hard. It's not. I
People
used
that
to.
can't hear no can't say no.
Come on, man.
That's
Come on.
powerful right there. That's powerful because that's so true. And where does that take you? Like when there's when you're okay, for instance, you're a parent, right? And a kid comes to your child comes to you with the request, and you already know that the answer should be no, right? But because, ooh, this is so deep, Christian, but because you have your own internal battles and struggles and traumas that you feel like the uncomfortability that it's going to cause for you and your child for the answer no to come out, right? Something we all battle, uncomfortability, right? And we say, okay, just yes. And that takes that kid down a trap that has consequences for the rest of his life because you didn't have the power to say no. because you couldn't hear no yourself. And that means you couldn't hear no in your own mind because of the uncomfortability that would cause within yourself. Um, that's a powerful statement, Christian.
You know,
So
it's
this was a good conversation. But Christian, I got a question for you, man.
You got
What you working on?
man. Well, as you know, and I have to do it today. I apologize to my team, my people that are looking for it. But I didn't do today's blog. I got 3 straight weeks of blogs, man. A lot of material
Mhm.
that people are looking at, man. But I tell you, what I like is we finally figured out how to get comments on the blog page
Okay.
themselves, right? So now people can interact with the blog, which is definitely dope because I had people,
It is.
people would go to the LinkedIn post that I put out and comment
Mm-hmm.
on that. I want to give
Right.
them the opportunity to comment directly on the page and drive
Gotcha.
even deeper conversation. So that's now in full effect. That's been beautiful. Um, there's a lot.
that's good.
There's a lot that's been going on.
Hmm?
I think Troy, I think you and I touched on it yesterday. I told you that, Derek, I told Troy that, you guys know I have the book, of course, but there's an application guide book now, ebook that I'm now doing, right? So, and it's showing
Nice.
people in different situations and scenarios how to implement the unlocked framework,
Nice.
right? And so the first thing is I got a book that I'm almost done with for people who work in hospitality, social work. It could be production. It could be hospitality, hospital work, right? Um, it's all about positions that are high demanding roles where you may not have ownership or I guess an authority in the space, right? You're working, and often those jobs are could be deemed as unskilled depending where you're at, right? It could be deemed as I don't know, underappreciated. You know what I mean? But it's something
Mm-hmm.
that speaks to a lot of different people that we know,
Hmm.
we've been possibly in our lives, right? I know I
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
have, right? So a lot of frontline, especially frontline people, right?
That's good,
Um,
Christian.
because they get exhausted, they get beat, and there's an assumed level of labor or work that they put into the job, but then there's the real labor that they put into the job, right?
Oh
The
yeah, that's
taxing
good.
stuff. And so that gap is what people experience. And so the unlocked principles I say are how to navigate life, but these application guides are going to give specific scenarios for how to really apply it so you can eliminate that gap. So yeah.
That's valuable, Christian. That's so valuable, man. That's and as with a lot of the things that we're all doing, um, like how let me ask you this, how are we gonna make people aware that this is available? Because I can't imagine that there's anyone in these levels positions that you're speaking of, they know that this resource exists and then say, no, I don't want that.
I
So
got to tell you,
how do we raise a level of awareness that this is available to them?
yeah, yeah. Part of the reason why I started blogging a few weeks back was
Hmm.
to bring that awareness and give people a
Hmm.
sense of one, getting to know me, two, getting to start to think, and I call it unlock thoughts for a reason, to start thinking about things in a way that they may not have thought about it. And let's keep it 100. I'm a mercenary too. I'm trying to sell books.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And
right.
so book sales have increased because of these posts. And now with the book sales, readership into the actual unlock framework has really, like we talked about before, different people in different areas started to pick it up. And so people are reaching out to me more and having that conversation. So, this is like an organic approach, but it's growing because, which is again, it's growing just through that organic approach, and it's exponential, right? We know it's
Yes.
multiplicative, right? And
Hmm.
so it's not simply a linear approach. I'm trying to take a parabolic approach to this thing, and keep moving forward, right? And so word is bond. This show right here, the more we talk about things, the more dynamic we get into our conversation, just naturally as we typically do, right? And I think that that's all. This is another approach, but word of mouth, and also, again, um, us getting in front of other people's audiences, right? And so there's some things that I'm doing right now. Um, you and I, you guys, we'll talk offline on it, but it's about it. It's dealing with a local council, right? That we're getting ready to do a proposal with. Um, and I think that's going to be pretty helpful. And it's going to be something I'm going to talk to you guys about just so you make you aware of it, because it's even something that we can even do collaboratively possibly. Um, but yeah, it's the eyes are coming, the ears are coming. I'm not here to put ads out. That's not my game, right?
Mhm.
Because this is real talk from me. So I don't want to spend. I don't think I need to spend money to do what I think it needs to get done, right? I truly don't. And I want people to come through a natural filter, right?
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, that
organic,
makes sense.
organically.
Well, I've been a
That's what's
huge
up.
fan of blogging forever. So that's good that you were able to implement that into your play.
Oh,
Uh,
let me tell you something else. Just don't even cut you off, D. But he asked me what I'm working on. I'm also building websites for people because people are like, man, the way you do stuff, you have a lot of skills. Yes. Now I say I'm building websites for people. I ain't building it for everybody, right? People in my circle, I got you covered. So what's beautiful
oh, that's
is,
good.
yeah. So
That's
what's
good.
beautiful, I'm gonna go plug to my boy Dutch Coleman, because his presence, is felt, nationally already. But
Mhm.
building out his website last week, or was it this week? This week, I don't know what day it is. This past week, this week, yeah. No, at the end of last week, I apologize. Um, that website he has is dope. You know what I mean? So I put that together for him. And then yeah, the coaching side of the house, that's starting to grow. Right. So that's the other part too, because I'm gonna get testimonials from companies that I've been working with and helping them build their value and understand how to improve, how to eliminate waste and build value. That's what I do, right? That's how I bring money to the table for people. You know what I mean? So things are happening. It's crazy now. It's starting to rain here. See, y'all should come back
See
to
some
Pennsylvania
drops.
and get some of this. Yeah,
Y'all can you
this
can
is
have that.
crazy. This is crazy.
Have what, the rain?
We
Miami
got
get
all we
rain.
got all 4 seasons. We got all 4 seasons in one day out here, man. It's crazy.
Oh
We haven't had
Lord.
Derek. We haven't had spring yet. We're gonna be in summer next month. We haven't had spring yet. Crazy.
Oh, no spring?
Not really. Like we're gonna have like probably 3 weeks of spring and then being then being summer. Yeah, I'm looking
That's
at my
unfortunate.
greenhouse. Little things ain't growing like they supposed to. It's crazy, man. But yeah, no, this has been a great conversation for me. I'll be honest with you. Because Derek, the stuff you brought on, just that's gonna be today's blog. That
Okay.
gave me inspiration on today's blog. I tell you what I've been doing too. I'm out in the communities, and I could be working from the chat from Jensen Joe, whatever. There was a kid who was graduating from Muhlenberg College, and he happened to, I didn't know him, but he came in, he was getting coffee at the shop. And I said, let me ask you a question. What are you thinking about? He goes, well, you ain't graduate. So thinking about a lot about that, moving back to Long Island. I got a job, he's working in finance in the city. I was like, okay. I said, take a look at operateunlock.com. There's gonna be a blog out there for you today, right? So I put a college graduate kind of post out. So I like being in the moment. And I know Derek, this is something you touched on, um, current affairs and us talking about that kind of stuff. So I've been
Mhm.
utilizing that mindset to really stay on top of, what things are people exploring, and let me write about
Right. No, that's good.
Yeah,
It
that's
makes
good. That's good.
it makes
You
me
get
go
no,
ahead,
go ahead,
Tori.
Derek. Okay. And I was saying it's good to be that's the beauty about the blogging is it's almost a way for you to, you're just out in the community where you like you always say, have my antennas up, and it's a way for you to voice what people want to hear. So if you're out there and you see what people are coming at you with, bam, you can add value right there on the spot. So
Hmm.
that's the beauty of blogging. I know Derek mentioned doing some blogging back in the day and has interest in doing that too. So
Yo, you
Yeah, I'm,
should too, D.
yeah, I'm a huge fan of it, man. It's a good way to bring for as a good content creator method,
mhm. Yeah, and
which I'm a
to your point, that's where my content comes from too. I don't necessarily call it blogging, but I guess that's what I'm doing because whenever I make a post for the group, it's based on what I'm in the word in that morning, if I, whatever verse or whatever passage I'm studying, I just take that what I learned, I relate it to dialysis, and I write about it and I put it in and I put it on the and I make that a post. So I guess in essence that's kind of blogging too, but I think Christian's blogging is more defined because it's on his website and it's more labeled as blog more so than just a post. So I love the way
Well,
we're
I
all
just think I just think it's where you're putting your post. So
okay.
you can put it where you're putting it, but you probably could drop some code or something to have it drop in the
Gotcha.
section of your website or something as well.
Hmm.
It probably could do both. But the
Hmm.
main thing is that both of you are building authority on that
Hmm.
topic
Thought
every
leadership.
time you write about
Yeah.
it. Every
Yeah.
single time you write about it.
Yeah,
You
and
share, like Kristen, your stuff coming together organically and then you sharing insights on that topic. That's crazy. That's really, a key aspect of blogging. So keep doing that.
I want
But
to
I
say something
do.
though. You hit it on the head though, Derek. I don't want to cut you off. I want to hit. You said something like to Troy. It's like he is blogging because his thing is it's about thought leadership, right? And his thing is pure thought mastery, right? Thought
Mhm.
leadership in that dialysis space, you know. And it's always funny. We always talk about people. Uh, sorry, I got a message from one of the kids. We always talk about like the people that are that Troy speaks to, right? They're reading his stuff. They may not comment. They're reading his stuff, right? And but I do know people. Not only are they may not be commenting, but I know talking to my brother, they're seeking out his expertise. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because he's delivering some value that they can't get anywhere else, right? And that value that and I said to somebody yesterday I was working with, what all through their website, just helping them build value. I said, listen, but value deserves a level of cockiness.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Value deserves a level of cockiness, right? So if you know you have something of value, you have to know that. And it does if you have value, then you need to be cocky about it, right?
Mhm.
Because your value is about helping somebody else.
Yep.
Period. Right? And so there's a monetary value associated with that too, right?
Mhm.
When I say value, I'm not talking strictly money, but there is a monetary value to what Troy offers, right? There's a monetary value to what we all offer. Like I said, we mercenaries out here, but with the mercenaries is to kill off the stuff that's trying to negatively impact the people we're trying to help. You know what I mean?
Where
And
they
so,
at?
Good.
I need them.
That's good, right?
you know what I
Where the
mean?
mercenaries at?
Dude, that's us. We're going
I
after
know.
them jokers that's trying to mess the people that we're trying to help. Right?
Huh?
Mhm.
We're, com- we're
I
Exactly.
coming
like that.
we're coming for that neck. It is
I
what
like
it
that.
is.
I like that.
You know,
I,
Hmm.
those. Go ahead, D. I ain't gonna cut you
nah,
off
I
because you be.
just, I just
Time out,
had.
time out. I'm gonna cut you off. I gotta cut you off again on purpose this time. Listen, Derek, you bring so much heat to make my mind go crazy. I gotta get it off my chest because you know me.
There
Once
you
I
go.
say something, I forgot what I said. So now, go ahead, Derek.
That's why we're live. So it's
No
there
doubt.
forever. Well, I really did have a big question. Thanks for that, Kristen. I just wanted to know, like, Troy, what you working on, man?
Mm,
Ooh, ooh.
mm.
What am I working on? I'm working on renewing my mind. Right. This week, I've been battling in my mind a little bit, and
Okay.
I've been getting spiritual attacks telling me that what I'm doing isn't valuable. And what Christian just said is confirmation that it totally is, right? So I've been renewing my mind on how to keep persevering and pushing through, even though sometimes as entrepreneurs we walk through that wilderness, right? Um, I held a master class last month and I didn't have a whole lot of attendees. So the enemy was right ready to get on me. Like you ain't nothing, man. See,
You ain't nothing. Why you
Nobody
doing
care
that?
about. Why you doing all that? Nobody care about what you doing, right? But
Interesting.
but that just fortified me because I know for a fact what God's called me to do. Um, then I start thinking about, wait, is this how he's called me to do it? Right. But that's the important thing, is because I'm having the conversations with him and I'm listening for Holy Spirit guidance. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm never gonna quit. Right. So I already have the victory. So that I just been renewing my mind, renewing my mind on my messaging, and and asking myself, is lack of energy the real thing that dialysis patients need? And my pop said, I was having this conversation with him. He was here. Thanks, Pops. He was here this past week. And he overheard me talking. And I was just asking, how do I help dialysis patients? What do they really want? And I was like, energy, they're stressed. And he was like, they probably don't feel like going. You feel like going? And I was like, you know what?
I can hear your dad saying it too.
All right, you know what? I don't feel like going. Now I'll make the most of it while I'm there, but I honestly and truly don't feel like going. But then how do I turn that into an offer? Like, they gotta go. They gotta go. So I've been working through my mind of what I can really
That's the
offer them.
offer. What you thinking, Christian?
No, you know what I'm
You
thinking.
probably
Go ahead,
think
Derek. Go ahead, Derek.
No,
He
go
just
ahead.
to
This
said
is
me
it,
why we
Troy.
here. This is why we here. Do your thing, fellas.
Go
Talk to
ahead,
me.
Troy. Go ahead, Derek.
it just sounds like that's the offer.
That's it, yo. You just said it. You need to
You
say it to
just
them
said the
just like
offer.
that.
But I can't help them feel like going.
No, no, no.
No,
You need to
you
come
just
at it like,
gotta say
I
it.
don't feel like doing this.
Yeah.
I don't feel like going. I'm doing these things. I don't feel like going. But you know why I'm going? Come on, man.
It's the
It's,
same thing with a kid. I don't want to go to school today. I don't want to
Mhm.
go, right? But how do you put that into a commercial? How do you put that into a way that every kid can see that commercial, say, yeah, that's how I feel every day, but I still go to school, right? Same thing with dialysis. You got to put that into a commercial, like almost, right? And say, yeah,
You got it. You got it. I got
nah, you
something
just
ready.
basically saying the same thing, right? I don't want to go to dialysis today. I'm tired. I don't want to deal with this no more, right? That's
I'm gonna
probably
put
is
it. I'm gonna put it in Troy game. I'm gonna go in
mm-hmm.
Troy mode.
Go ahead.
What's your logo, Troy?
My logo?
Yeah,
You mean
what's
my
your logo?
slogan? You
No,
mean my
your
slogan?
logo. No, I mean your logo. Do you have one?
The logo is a visual thing. How do I express what
Exactly.
my
Do you
logo is?
have one? I'm gonna tell you exactly. You don't have one. I'm about to put you on game
Okay.
because all you just finished talking about was Noah's Ark.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, God was telling Noah something. He and you just said you was talking about you and you was Noah. You ain't like I'm not gonna stop. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop. Right. So the visual for you was an ark, letting people get on.
Mm-hmm.
Other people open it up for other people to get on. This is Troy's ark.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
You
real.
know what I'm
That's deep.
saying? You just
Mm-hmm.
finished talking about Troy's ark, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make that ark open to people to come up in here.
Okay. Okay. It's just on that note, something else I was thinking about too is, like, what, so Eric, that's all good. I appreciate that, fellas. But what does that look like from a service, providing a service or a product aspect? We know the mentality, right? Okay. Like, I don't feel like going. Here's the commercial, but what are they buying?
Well, wait a
They
minute.
getting vitamins,
So this a
energy. They
this
getting
this
you.
yeah, yeah. So I got to go here though. I got to go here because I don't know the space like you know the space. Okay.
Mhm.
But we do, you just said they don't want to show up. Your pop asks you, what do they want? So my question is, how do you know that's what they want? Let's start there.
Exactly. That's exactly the question that we started this conversation with. Is my right now, speak to them from energy. We all want energy, and I know all dialysis patients want and need energy. But as my coach says, right, what's their bleeding artery, right? Like, what do they need right now? Like, energy's fine, we could all use it, but what their
Yeah,
bleeding
yeah.
artery, like, they don't want to die, right? They don't want to die, and going to treatment is a drag.
Yeah, so let's go here. They they want energy, right? And I'm gonna keep going in that space. They want
That's not
energy,
their bleeding artery. That's what I'm
right, right,
discovering.
right. But I'm gonna just take what you just said, right? They want energy and they don't want to die, right? Why not? Why do they not? Why do they want energy? Why don't they want to die? Because what? I'm gonna say this because there's some things they want to do,
Mhm.
right? There's some
Right.
things they want to do, and to me, that's what you're selling. Now, because I don't think you can get to specifically what they want to do, but what we do know is the whole reason they want energy and the reason they don't want to die because there's some things they want to do, right?
Right. Right.
And that's what your program's going to let them see. Like, there's things you want to do, and you don't think you can.
Mhm.
This is what your program does for them.
Yes. That's in my messaging as well.
Yeah. So I mean, so it's about keeping it going, but it's also, again, we're not going to get through it the whole time. This is a brainstorming session, which I'm all in for after the call. You know what I mean? But I'm like, we figure out that thing, the bleeding artery. I hear what they're saying, but I'm like, what are they trying to accomplish? Right? What are the things? What is it that they're trying to accomplish? You know what I mean? That's the shift. The shift is they don't think they can, I don't know, ride a bike with the family. I don't know, right? Maybe that's the productized market analysis stuff, right? You know,
Mhm.
what are the things that you think you can't do right now? Ask them what they want to do, not what they need. What do they want to do that they think they
Mhm.
can't do?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then
That's good.
then wrap that up into a general package. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I see.
Got a
I
tough
mean,
job.
I
You got
yeah,
a
I
Tough,
tough.
know, and I
tough.
feel like if I know for a fact because I've done it.
Hmm.
Once we're face to face, we're sitting down and we work together, you're gonna achieve point blank period. I got results, I got letters, I got testimonials. But but like you said, here's my challenge is making them or helping them to believe that they can so that they come to me so I can help them. Most of my people don't even feel like they can. Why am I going to bother with him helping me when I know I can't do it? So me pulling them up and sitting in front of me. Once they're in front of me, it's a wrap. Results come, but getting them to believe that I can help them is part of the challenge.
Then this is what you and I are going to do because you came into my world just now, right? Point A to point B, but understanding what dots connect between the 2 points. That's unlocked. So what we need to do is tailor unlocked to your customer.
Mhm.
Let's do that together, and maybe we'll come up with something that resonates because that's the whole point around resonance.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I we can do that. We can do
I
that.
appreciate you, fellas. I appreciate you, fellas. I
My
love
thing
being
is,
I love being on the hot seat. Go ahead, Derek.
no, I'm just thinking like, I mean, I have similar problems, right? Trying to
Yeah,
work with families. The parents know they
yeah, I
need
know.
help.
Yeah,
They all need help. How you don't need help
right.
unless you've been working in this space. How you not need help guiding your kid to college, and how are you trusting the college counselor at your kid's school who only is going to meet your kid one time for about 30 minutes and
Mm-hmm.
plan your kid's whole life,
Mm-hmm.
as far not their whole life, they're going to plan their
I get it.
college,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is it's a major milestone, right? So with you're dealing with people that are, I'm sure a lot of them are depressed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big
Mm,
thing, right? How do
mhm.
you overcoming someone with depression, because that's that you almost need mental health counselors to deal with that, right? So that would be my challenge for you is you're dealing with someone's depressed. It's almost like someone who's been through a bad marriage and they need to get out, but they're depressed, right? Or they don't know what to do next, right? Same thing with anything that you're depressed over. So I'm just thinking along the lines of what you were saying is like really trying to reach them. How do you reach someone who's depressed,
Well, Derek,
right? How do you?
I'm gonna do Christian timeout thing. Not all of them are depressed. Not most of them. Not all dialysis patients are depressed. Really,
Mhm.
And quite frankly, the ones that are depressed, I'd love to help them, but they really aren't my quote unquote customer. Like the people that are depressed, like you said, they need mental health counseling, right? I need someone who has high agency, who's just ready to rock and roll, but this dialysis thing is slowing them down. They don't got no energy, or their mentality is not right. They don't have the right systems, and they just want to be able to navigate life while doing this dialysis thing. Like dialysis takes energy and all these things, all the ways, different ways it affects them, right? I've been doing this for 25 plus years. I know all the ways to battle and defeat all those types of things. So
Yeah.
I hear you. There are some people who are depressed. Dialysis can depress you, and I'm willing to help, and I know I can help them. But those aren't really the people I really speak to.
Okay. That's
But
good info.
I appreciate you. The challenge still remains, and it goes back to the same question I asked Christian. Like he has a valuable offer, especially this new one about people in these high intense professions who don't really get the recognition but work so hard. And
Mhm.
I think that's a huge value add to people. And like, how do the people who are in that position know that Christian is here? I think we all have that same challenge.
Well, absolutely. I think, and that challenge will be here forever, right?
Right. Yeah,
For
that's
everybody.
business. That's
That's
marketing, right?
business.
That's
That's
Yeah, that's
business. Yeah, that's
business and
business.
marketing. Yeah. Yeah,
But
fair. Yeah, yeah.
so I'll say this. What time? How much time we got?
yeah, we can wrap soon. We've been going about 50 minutes, but this is a good
Yeah,
conversation.
because I think this is something that we can take offline and get a little bit more real into the offer itself,
Mhm.
right? Because
Mhm.
I think there's something that that thing I sent you the other day. We talked about it. Um, I think that's going to help to answer your question too. You know, because again, it's the methodology that I'm going to start employing for my other thing. And Derek, I'm gonna send that to you too,
You mean the
Okay.
so you
YouTube video
have
you're
it.
talking about?
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to because there's some things that he said in there that I believe are totally helpful for all three, right?
Good.
And it's
Okay.
about and it's also part of that includes approach, right? I think approach has a lot to do with it too, because that's how we're framing everything from the beginning a little
Right.
differently, right? And I think that's what's going to be helpful. You know, this was a dope conversation though, without
Hmm.
a doubt. But I definitely want to continue it on like we do anyway, right? Behind the scenes. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Because I think that's where we're going to really bring that heat for each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, good
So,
talk, fellas. Good talk, fellas. I'm
yeah,
gonna get back
great
to my
talk.
day. Get back to
I
my
got to
day.
go.
You
I'm gonna
guys
get
get
Yeah.
back.
back to your days.
Yeah, I got to end the stream. I got to go back to the powerhouse studio and get that done.
All right,
I
All
fellas.
right.
Talk
appreciate
soon.
y'all.
Have a
All right,
great
All
yo,
right.
day.
word is bond.
Word is